What's going on, Blues? Welcome back to Life as an Evertonian. This is our final summary of the game last night at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, where Everton was beaten 1-0 against Man United. What can we take from last night, Blues? I think the atmosphere was good. Um, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, we got behind the lads last night. And I think it was in terms of the commitment that they were putting in. You could see the graft, right across the whole team. To be fair, you could see the passion. You could see him communicating with each other and shouting on the pitch, and that was evident to see. And we we gravitated to that, and we felt that, and we were giving it back in from the stands. In terms of quality in the final third, there weren't much really. Um, there was a period in that game where I would have liked to have seen more changes from David Moyes in terms of his selection. There's that famous saying, um, putting square pegs in round holes. And obviously he's done that again tonight. Well, last night he's done that with playing our best centre half at left back, our best midfielder at right back. We've got no problem with that, to be fair. Um, but there's still right back options on the bench in Seamus Coleman and Nathan Patterson. Obviously doesn't fancy Nathan Patterson. Um, and obviously Jake O'Brien was suspended. But when I think about that centre half partnership in the future of Jake O'Brien and Jared Branthwaite, I think it's mouth watering. I really do. I think there's a lot of pace in there, and especially from Jared. I feel if Jared would have been at centre half in that position last night, that goal might not have happened. Tarky was very slow, and Sesko's got a lot of pace. So listen, the lineup, I guess I were okay with, but we are struggling because of the fullback areas for me, um, and that's not going to be addressed until the summer. So we have to just deal with what we've got. Um, I think I think Harrison Armstrong had a decent game, but for me, I want to see him more centrally. I think back to the Villa game, and I thought the midfield three that night, were very, very good. In Harrison Armstrong, Merlin Rowe, and Jimmy Garner. And Merlin Rowe's not had a sniff since, and I don't get it. Tyler Diblin's not finding his way onto the pitch. Charlie Alcaraz isn't getting any minutes. And did it need something different in the middle of the park last night? I think it did. And I think we all think it did. But Moyes, I don't know, in his stubborn manner, because that's what it is. Listen, I'm a Moyes fan. I come on here and, I appreciate David Moyes, and I like the fella. And he's achieved things with what he's done in his career. He's won a European trophy with West Ham, and look where they are now. And he's obviously came in at Everton to build those building blocks, to make us hard to beat, to get us out of where, or the position that we've been in over the last 3 years. And he's done that. We're mid-table. We're ninth in the league. We're in that, you know, Carlo Ancelotti type position where we were under Carlo around this time, um, in when Carlo was in charge. So we're there and thereabouts, but I don't know. I think Everton only really improved in that attacking sense, in that attacking third, when Tyreek George came on. He offered us something. He offered us an outlet. He offered us pace down the flanks. He was trying to get to the byline and whip balls in. He was cutting inside and getting a shot off. A lot of the times last night, like Keenan Dewsbury Hall, he weren't offering that. He didn't have the greatest game. And I think changes needed to be made. Merlin Rowe, Charlie Alcaraz, something a little bit different. Tyler Diblin, switch Njai into the middle or something, just something different. Um, and it didn't happen, Blues. United came, and I thought United looked very strong last night defensively. And they broke on the counter attack, and I guess they did what Everton do to a lot of teams away from home. They did that. And we managed to do that at Old Trafford. A big game coming up at weekend. Obviously, we're going to cover that this week. There's some big games coming up, and we have to move on quickly from these games, and obviously that daunting task of going to Hill Dickinson Stadium. I went there last night with no. I didn't expect anything. I didn't go there with any optimism. I went there with like, let's just see what we get, and we got a better Hill Dickinson. We got a better atmosphere. We saw the work rate. We saw it. It was evident to see, and we just didn't have enough quality. And listen, that's only going to get addressed in the summer, like I've just mentioned. Whether the Moyes stays or he moves on and steps down, I don't know. There's a lot of Evertonians who aren't happy with Moyes. And listen, don't get me wrong, I'm frustrated as well. I am. I'm just not on here like calling for his head or anything at this stage. I'm not. Um, and obviously the timing for when he does move on, because listen, he ain't going to be at our club for 11 years like he were last time round. Um, it's got to be the right time, and obviously, whether that's in the summer, it's in the summer. I don't know. We don't know how the board, the freaking group, are going to be thinking in that mindset. But for me, last night I would have liked to see Nathan Patterson at right back. Um, I probably would have gone with Mikalenko at left back. I mean, what does that say about our fullbacks? That they don't get selected. It's just like trying to select the best 11, but playing plays out of position. Don't it don't work for me. That it just doesn't. I would have liked to see Mikalenko probably at left back, and yeah, I'd have probably gone for Jared Branthwaite, and I don't know, maybe Michael Keane. I don't know, but Tarky gets selected. Let me know your thoughts on that. For me, if Jake O'Brien were fit, that would be my pairing. I go for Jake O'Brien now and Jared Branthwaite at centre halves. It's as simple as that. I built from that. But that's me. Let me know your thoughts on that. Adrissa Gay, he did all right last night. Don't get me wrong, but I think he should have come off. I think he should have been the one should have been one of the players who got changed. But it didn't happen. And Jai in and out of the game, showed glimpses. Harrison Armstrong again did all right, but for me, he's not a wide player. Needs to be central. Keenan Dewsbury, he tried, just lacked in that final third. For me, weren't getting shots off. I thought Tieno Barry worked hard. He hurried the ball down. He did press. He did a lot of running. He won a lot of headers. I think he did win a lot of headers last night, but didn't really have anything to feed off. And that's where we were last night. We tried to create stuff from corners. It just didn't happen for us Blues. So we move on. And I said that a lot. I feel like I said that a lot, especially when we play at home. But listen, Newcastle at weekend, and we'll be covering that this week. And then we've got Burnley at home. The two massive games with the run of fixtures that we've got coming up, like to Chelsea and the Merseyside derby. But there were improvements last night, and I will say that is probably the best that we've played when we've lost at Hill Dickinson. So that's what I'm going to take from the game. Yeah, it's not an amazing mantle to take from the game. It's not something where, but you do always try to take something to build on for the next game ahead. And, sometimes the work rate, the commitment does get you over the line. It just didn't last night. So, Blues, let me know your thoughts on everything that I've mentioned there. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Click that bell to turn on post notifications. Up the toffees. And before I go, now I've not mentioned this. I ain't produced a video on this. But it were some breaking news to the day. Just let me get it up. I hope I've still got it. I have. And it was from David Ornstein. Usually very, on point with stuff like this. And it says Everton are readying a 35 million bid to prize Liam Delap away from Chelsea this summer. The 23-year-old striker is high on Everton's shortlist as they look to add power and goals to their attack ahead of the new campaign. Concrete interest. Formal offer expected soon. So I think we can say, Blues, obviously he had talks with Everton. Um, and he even said it was close in terms of who we were going to choose in terms of Everton or Chelsea. I understand why he chose Chelsea, Champions League, football, you know, I get it, the London move. Um, you know, Obviously he's at Luton, weren't he? Sorry, he was at Ipswich, weren't he? So, it's one of those Blues where, this lad has potential. I think he scored 12 goals in the Premier League for Ipswich. He hasn't got a great goal scoring record, and he's only got one goal this season. But he is a workhorse, and I think he is a player that Everton could get the best out of. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Um, you know, Massively need fullbacks in the summer. I hope three or four come in. I really do because I think Seamus is going to retire. Nathan Patterson will get moved on. I think it's time for Mikalenko to get moved on. He's only, if he did stay, he's only going to be a squad. He's going to be a squad fullback. Let's be honest, he's not going to be a starting fullback. Um, that they are the key areas for me. They really are. Obviously, getting Jack Grealish done for me. I want to get locked down for me. I'm missing Jack, seeing him out, tugging that on that left hand side, getting the ball and slowing the game down and winning free kicks and bringing others into game. He had 6 assists, 2 goals. Numbers don't lie. So, Blues, I'm going to leave this one there. Subscribe again to the channel if you haven't done so already. Up the toffees, and I'll see you in the next one.